Welcome to the Think Loud Crew podcast. We are three moms getting real with parenthood, relationships, and the WTF moments of our lives. Today we have a special guest. I'm very excited. Riann is joining us. And just a quick backstory. I know on my Snapchat I've been talking a lot about my braids and my hair. I got my hair braided in a beauty salon. It is all thanks to Riann over here. So, do you want to give us a quick little tidbit, like who you are in a nutshell?
Oh God, I was just watching your guys' titles thing. So I'm Riann. I am 34 years old.
As of yesterday, happy birthday, Riann.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm a mother, an entrepreneur, daughter, wife, and yeah, I just kind of roll with the punches.
All the things.
All of the things. I wear many hats. So, yeah.
Did you say how many kids you have?
5.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that.
Everybody knows.
I feel like for you to have 5 kids and you are looking like this and thriving and alive this morning, I just commend you off of that. I'm struggling and I have 2.
Oh, well, they're with grandma, and so I spent the night with her. So they're probably running around crazy right now, driving her nuts. When I left the house, I was just like, you got it?
Bye. Bye, Mom.
Don't call me, but if you need it.
No, I'm definitely that parent who's like calling all the time, like worry, like is everything, because I know my kids, they're going to like get over on her. And I'm like,
How old are your kids?
11, 8, 6, 3, and 1.
Dang.
So they're like about 2.5 years apart, each of them.
So how old were you when you had the oldest?
22.
Did you feel 21.
Young? Yes and no. Mm-hmm. Like I just kind of went with it. You know, like I always kind of believe like everything happens for a reason, and I'm where I need to be.
Yeah.
And so it was a shocker for my mom. I remember the first time when I called her, I think I was at like Target or maybe Babies R Us, and I told her on the phone, because we weren't living in the same city. And then she started crying and she was like, I knew this was going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, that happens when you get married. And
so you were married?
Yes.
Oh, wait. So how old were you when you got married?
21. So like a year later, we had a baby. Like
Dang.
Literally, we got married in November, and then in 2011, and then our baby came 2012.
Did your mom think that getting married at 21 was young?
Absolutely.
So they fought you on it?
They fought me, but now, of course, they love everything. But my mom used to say for the longest, oh, just have another one. I think 5 just about took her out. Took her out, not me. But
I'm gonna say you're still going.
Dang, 21 is young to get married. When I think about me at 21.
Yeah.
How long had you and your husband known each other before you're getting married?
I met him when I was 16.
Okay.
So I've known him for a very long time. He was just kind of like one of those guys that were just there all the time.
Yeah.
But he never really tried anything, which was a lot of respect, because I had guys try things and I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
And then I was really shy, like growing up. Like I was the only child, so I didn't really chase after the guys. Like my mom kept me like, you're in basketball, you're in swimming, you're in,
after busy.
Yeah, I was busy. Yeah. So it was strange for when I would be around guys, they were like, like they would want me to like hang out, and I was just like, and do things. I was like, no, I got things like
to do.
I'm busy. I gotta go home. Like, no, we're not doing all of that, And like my mom was just very focused in making sure I was out of trouble, and like,
go mom.
Yeah. So I like now I always tell her, like, I'm so proud of like what you did for me, because I could have been in really bad situations.
Yeah. Are you and your husband the same age?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So how did his family feel with him getting married at 21?
They actually, so his relationship with his family is very distant. Mm-hmm. So they didn't really know until later. And then they just kind of like, oh, okay, like we love her. Like, they ended up like liking me. And I actually pushed more of the relationship on with his mom, and I'm like, call your mom, like invite her over, like, because I grew up very like family oriented, like we were super tight.
Yeah.
Like I would spend months like the summer at my aunt's house, and my mom would send me off and with money and be like, or
set you up.
Yeah, she would. It was good. So to me, like we always had, Christmas dinners and like every year. And I remember the family were like, "Oh, we're not doing it this year," because they were all fighting. And I was like, "Whoa, what if like our my grandfather, we called him Pawpaw, and I was like, what if Pawpaw died this year?"
Yeah.
And then so that's what brought everybody back together, and they were like, okay, let's like drop the act and
I like
the
that
fighting.
You did that because that's
because that was so important. Yeah, to me,
it's
family is super important. Like at the end of the day, it's all you got. Like I mean, there's some family members that I don't talk to, but the family that I have created and the family that is around all the time, like I'm really, really close.
I like how you said the family I've created, because I think that's something like as I've gotten older, like you have like your family, but you really do create your family, like, and that can be in your circle, your friends, your village. Like, I think that's something that's really important. So sometimes people are like, "Oh, I don't have family." I'm like, that's okay. You create it. Like, you get to choose. You have your chosen family. You get to choose who you want to share your time, your energy, and who you want in your life. So
it's like a community that you could create.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys have been married for, I'm mad at math.
What are we?
Yeah. What year is it?
I'm like 2024.
It's going on 12.
Dang. I feel like
that's a long time.
Our generation.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you. It's
getting
not
married
easy.
young. That you just don't really hear like a lot of success stories. At least I haven't. So I think it's always cool when I do hear of it.
Especially with children. Like we're doing all this stuff in like the birthing space right now, and there's a lot of families who I see like they really struggle after that child. Like after pregnancy, and like they don't always make it. So I think it's a huge blessing that y'all have made it through 5.
Yeah, I think 5 has definitely put a strain because it's a lot. Like this has been, this last pregnancy was my hardest pregnancy. I should have paid attention to the signs, because I always say in your pregnancy is really how your kids are when they come out. Like no, really. Like,
so wait, how did this one come out?
The little one is like, this is it.
Right. What is the little one doing?
He is definitely. He was just very like early in the morning, like all the time. I was like, oh, he's gonna be I'm gonna give birth in the morning, 4 a.m. woke me up for sure. And it's just he was just hard. Like I remember my left side, like I could barely walk, like. Half of the pregnancy, I was like, if I have to go through this stuff again, sorry, I was about to curse, but I was like, if I have to go through this again, I can't do it.
That's a lot.
I just can't do it. Like it was so painful. And then like I have everyone else
and
around
your
me
husband
trying to like needing my attention, needing me to do like all of the things, and I was just like, this is not what I want to do anymore. So I was like, get him out. I'm like, how much more time do we have? But then just balancing mom, wife, work.
And you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, like it's just been a lot, and trying to keep up. And I feel like everything is happening at the same time, and it's like I'm really struggling with the balance. Like, how do I get past this?
How do you? I want to talk about the balance, but I think I'm still stuck on you being married for 10 plus years. How do you keep your marriage alive? Like, how do you keep it healthy? How do you keep that spark with all of the titles that you do wear? Where does like your marriage fall on that?
Yeah. So it's a challenge for sure. We don't really go out. Well, one, I'm a homebody, so I like to be at home, and so is my husband. Like we like go out and we're like, okay, you ready to go?
Let's go back in now. Like, we get it. Let's get back inside.
We've been home. Oh yeah, I'm like, you ready to go? Like he doesn't like to go out to eat, but he does it because I like and we homeschool, so I force us.
Hold on. When I learned that Riann homeschool, I literally one day was like, this is
it's a lot of layers.
This woman is like so dynamic on so many different levels. Yeah. Because we had like a work call and she's, mom, and it's like I could relate to that because I've had to deal with my kids, but actually having to teach them and
I don't think I have enough patience or intelligence to homeschool.
Yeah.
Not
well,
the intelligent
I-
I have to be honest with myself. I feel like to be able to homeschool my kids, I would need to be honest with myself,
You're
right?
like, I really
No,
need
you
to
do.
understand
You do.
this.
I'm not the one.
yeah.
Do you bring a teacher in?
I was gonna say I have help.
Okay.
Yeah, I have help because I started solo dolo. Like I was like Googling, like I remember when Zop, he was 3 and I was like, or maybe he was 2. I think I started really, really early. And I was like, okay, what do you do to homeschool? And like, what are the tips and tricks and all of that? And so I literally went to Staples and got like a laminator and I just used an iron. I just got the paper because I was like, do I really need it? Like I go back, I'm really frugal with my money. Like I don't want to spend the money if I don't have to. Because I like good food and I like quality stuff. So I want quality versus quantity. So I was just like, okay, what can I do? I literally got the papers, printed it out at home, cut it up, used an iron and a towel, and like made my own laminations. I still have them all till this day. And I've just reused it. I'm really organized. Like
I have a laminator if you ever want to
See,
use it.
the fact that you're like
I never
really
did
organized.
it. I never did it again. Like I just did. I spent one night and just
So all
it out.
5 kids are homeschooled.
all 5 of them.
How does the oldest, because now I feel like the oldest is the most vocal, how do they feel about being homeschooled?
I think he likes the flexibility of it,
Okay.
because because you can make your own schedule. Although my 6-year-old, he wants to go to school. He's like, I want to go to school because he sees it on like whatever the shows they watch.
Would you
the
guys
random-
ever
was gonna say.
switch based off of the kid's personality to allow them to go to school?
I don't think so. Just with everything in the whole school systems now, I don't think we knew we didn't want to put them like
Into school.
into the school systems because we were very adamant. Like we live very different. Like we're not traditional. Like I know I said earlier, like years ago, I was doing Christmas dinners and all those things, and because of family, right? That was like our family thing. But after I got married, we just did away with all holidays.
Okay.
So we don't do anything. And yeah, I know you guys said happy
What about
birthday.
birthdays?
We don't celebrate birthdays. We acknowledge them.
So
Because,
is this ignorant, but is that like a Jehovah's Witness?
I don't know about the Jehovah's Witness.
They don't celebrate holidays or birthdays.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
So it's more of like Israelites and like according to the truth of what the Bible says.
Okay.
So we live differently. So it's more so like truth.
Okay.
Because like we all know, like people say like God is not religious. You know, it's not a religious thing. It's more of a spiritual thing. And so if it's not in the Bible, we try our best to not do those things. Like I don't eat pork or shellfish or like things like that, just because of the laws.
You're
that are-
actually like.
What does the birthday have to
It's
do?
more of like self-worship, like acknowledging if, in our eyes, and like for us, it's like the Most High wants all of the praise. And so we just really instill that, like, take it off of us, take it off of me. Like, who am I? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, and I remember when I was finding out about like, and going down that rabbit hole and trying to find like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, is this the right way? I remember just feeling grateful for who I am because, you know, and like, because the Lord only said that he was saving 144,000. And for me to be, even if I'm not a part of that, just to know who he is a blessing in my eyes.
So going back to yesterday being your birthday, it was just a regular day.
A regular day.
Do your like husband or kids say happy birthday?
No, I mean, we'll say like, how does it feel to be like, whatever
34,
the age,
yeah.
34. But like, I remember my mom, she still is very traditional, so she called me like she always does, and I'm not gonna knock it. You know, thank you. Knowledge. People believe at these days, they believe whatever they want.
Yeah.
So, I remember she FaceTiming the kids, and she was like, you know, she was like, you guys, today is the day your mom made me a mom, and they were like, what? Like the way she came at it was very different. Like that's not usually what she does, but
it sounds like she's trying.
She was trying to say it in a different way.
Yeah, and so, but you know, I mean, my oldest is 11, so it's not like it's new. But I think she was just trying to navigate that a little, be clever, I guess, or whatever. And so they were very confused. They were like, "What? What are you talking about?"
No birthday parties ever.
No, they've never had a birthday.
Are they allowed to go to other kids' birthday parties?
No.
Because it's confusing.
Yeah, I think it's confusing because I think it's funny because when we're out and people say like, oh, like Happy Halloween or Merry Christmas, they always like look at me and they're like, what do we do? Yeah, they're kind of trying to figure that out. And I always say, acknowledge it, because, you know, just say thank you.
People believe in different things.
Yeah, people, you know, so like to me it's just like, it's cool. We're not hurting anybody, you know, they're not hurting us. We just don't do that in our household, but other people do it, and that's okay. That's what they believe. That's on them. Yeah. You know, but on us, we have our beliefs, and this is what we do. And that's it.
Is this something that you and your husband like discovered and went down you mentioned the rabbit hole. Is this something you guys did together, or is it
No, he actually introduced it to me. Okay. So even though I've known him for forever, I remember he came over, I was living downtown, and he was like, you've never heard of, you know, the Israelites and this and that, and I was like, no, like what are you talking about? And he's like, you've never heard of it? And he's like, it's out there. And I was like, well, no. And so I remember, like...
Out where?
He was talking... Yeah, I mean, it was like, what, 2008? 2009, something around that time. And then when he was explaining everything, and I was like, this makes total sense. You know, like, I'm like, I can't believe I believed one way my whole life. But you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And so... I was just like, it just makes total sense.
So this was discussed before you guys got married?
Yeah.
As far as this is how we want to live our lives?
Like, I knew a year before that I loved him and I wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you think it would have been challenging if you did not know you guys got married and then he was like, this is the lifestyle I want to live?
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Because it's different. It's different. And people don't
a commitment.
Yeah, and people don't like to be disrupted. Like, I learned that. Like, I remember being called crazy and, like, what are you doing? And, like, you're out here. And you're like, and I was just like, what? Like, by family members. And I cut a lot of people off because of that. Because I was just like, I don't come over to your house and tell you how to live your life.
Yeah.
But you're going to come over. You feel comfortable to come over here and try to chastise me and make me feel a certain way. I was like,
yeah. Is it tough on your mom because you say she is traditional and then clearly she's in your life because she has your kids right now. So it's like you want her to follow what you're practicing in your household. Is it tough for her to follow, like, not the guidelines, but, you know, the
lifestyle.
The lifestyle. Yeah. At first it was, because it was different. You know, like, I think about my grandma all the time, and she's just like, you know, well, we always did it this way, you know, and this is how it was. And I hear that all the time, especially in the Black community. They're always like, well, this is how we've always done it. And you don't challenge it, you know. And so I was really the first one to challenge it. And then I'm an only child, so it's not like I have someone to balance things off of.
Right.
So it was definitely hard for her in the beginning. Now she's kind of come around and she understands. My thing is just respect it, you know, because this is the choice I'm making.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. What would you say is the hardest thing that you are choosing to do that people are not able to respect, like, easily? You know what I mean? Like,
again, I think it was just in the beginning, you know, just understanding, like we don't eat pork. And I think maybe the holidays things was like,
I feel like the holidays would be tough for me. I feel like the food, it's like, you don't eat pork, don't eat pork. Like, you know, like, I think the food is not, I wouldn't find the food challenging, but I'm picturing, like, Ryder choosing this lifestyle and with her kids and me as her grandmother. I think the holidays would be the hard thing, only because of how I was brought up. And the holidays are such, like, it's family, but when I think about it, if you take the holidays away, you still have family and you can still do things as a family, just not with a theme.
And you can
it's just not a theme situation.
You have your own traditions. Yeah. Like, in my early 20s, I dated a man and he had has 2 children, and they didn't do holidays. And for me coming in, I was like, I'm not going to take the kids trick-or-treating. Like, I can't take them. Yeah. I can't throw them this birthday. Like, we're not doing Christmas. Like, it was very new for me just because we grew up, like, we're still birthday.
I go crazy. I'm like, I'm just going to be honest. I go absolutely nuts.
Christmas is still, like, OD in the house. And it's interesting because for me, like, I kind of pulled away. just because I was introduced to different things. And, like, I was like, okay, I actually see the value in this, or, like, how it takes away all the fluff, I feel. But as I've had children and they're so into it with my family, I'm like, how do I balance this to where I'm still allowing my children to explore themselves and, like, see what they like versus just what I am choosing to do with myself. So it's
I see why you homeschooled now.
Yeah,
because I feel like it would be harder on the kids if they were going to school and all these other things are being put in front of them, and then they come home and it seems like you would always be the one to have to
explain,
say, like, no, you know, or
in the beginning, like, especially like when I think Zop was probably like 4, where he really could start, and he's really smart, so he can comprehend. Like, I always tell him, like, if I had your brain as a kid, like, I would be far along. But he struggled a lot, you know, and even I struggled, like, even explaining, because they have questions. Yeah. You know, like, they see it, like, in my mom's neighborhood. Every year it's lit up. Yeah. You know, and the grocery stores, like, they always say, you know, happy holidays and this and that. And I'm like, so I started telling them, like, you can either say thank you, and just it's like, what, a 2-second exchange. Right. You know, you could either just say thank you, or you can literally start saying, oh, thank you, but no thank you, we don't celebrate that, and move on. Because I want to give them the options. So they're in basketball now, so they're around other kids, and they've always been around other kids, but now they're consistently in that somewhat of like a school setting. So there was this mom, and she was asking them, you know, or she said, oh, what did you guys do for Christmas? Did you get a lot of presents and blah, blah, blah? And I was like, and he looked at me, my oldest looked at me, and I was like, and he kind of froze a little bit. And I was like, explain to her. Like, you're old enough now. You're 11. You tell her, you know, and there's nothing wrong. And so he's like, oh, we don't celebrate. And I was like, and she was like, okay, cool. Yeah. You know, she's like, I understand.
She's not, you shouldn't argue with the 11-year-old. Like, but you know, all you can do is just say, okay.
Yeah. So I want them to feel comfortable and confident. That it's okay to be different. And what we do is what we do.
Yeah. I like that. And it's, you know, as I'm learning, like, from Boz, you have to sometimes give them that language. Yeah. Like, of how to explain things. Yeah. So I love hearing this. So I'm freaking out right now in my brain.
And that was hard for me because I didn't know what, this is my first time ever doing it. You know, like, I didn't know how to explain it for a, you know, 11-year-old and 4-year-old, 6-year-old.
I didn't know that you guys didn't celebrate holidays and things like this. And I remember for your daughter, your mom was like, I'm having a baby shower for you.
She had, like, every birthday possible for everything that day.
And I remember it was like, and it was beautiful. So I'm like, I remember asking, like, oh, did you have showers for the other, you know, your sons? And you were like, no. And I was like, and that was the one. And it just, things are now making a little
Why
bit
did
more
you
sense.
allow it that one time?
It was more so for my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more so for her because, and I tried to make sure it wasn't just about the baby shower because I had the baby already anyway.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like a baby shower. It was
more like a brunch. We were just kind of like celebrating, and I was just like, I want to do something where I can bring the family together, but I don't want it to be so much around the baby. You know what I mean? Like, she was like almost 1 at the time, right?
I think she might have been.
Yeah. She might have been like 1, almost 1 or something. It was close to that age.
And it was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Was it a shower though? Like, did people bring gifts for?
I think like my grandma maybe gave me like $100 or something for the baby. But that's just what she just always does. Like, if I have a baby, they're gonna give me.
Yeah. I remember that day so much, and I was so thankful to be invited because it was crazy. I was in a space in my life where we would host a lot. I wasn't always inviting, but people never truly like invited me into their worlds. They were like, I just want to come and play in yours. Like, that was
and that's why I think I reached out to you because you guys are always you're always inviting. I think you were pregnant. I think at your shower when you were pregnant with Ryder, I think you invited me. I forget.
I always liked you. I was
So
like,
do you go to those things? I have so
Ryan.
many questions now. I'm like, you should have told me this before we started, because now I just feel like I have to ask everything.
Well, we can do a part 2. Wait, what was the question?
Like, if I invited you to my birthday party, would you come?
Probably not.
Okay. If I invited you to a baby shower?
Probably not.
How about a play date?
I would.
Okay.
I try to, just out of respect, because like in our household, like we really fear the Lord. Like even last night, like I was so mad at my kids. I was just like, because right now, I gotta be honest, but we're at a stage where everybody is fighting like all day, and I'm just like, that alone is just making me lose my mind. Like I'm like the fighting, and it's like over stuff. Like he's touching me. Like, I want to play. Like, I want to play with the stuffed animals. And I'm just like, what are you fighting over? Like, why are we fighting?
Yeah.
It's 7:30 in the morning. Like,
Yeah, for what?
like, why can't they play? Like,
Right.
I'm yelling at my oldest, like, why can't she play with her stuff? Like,
Why can't they touch you? Like,
yeah,
for like, what is the problem?
Like, we're in the car. Like, yesterday
over
we're going.
there.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? I'm like, separate. And I can hear them. I always see these things, and like, it's like the mom in the other room. And she's like, they're like, I'm going to tell mom. I'm literally that mom. Like, don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
I use other words, but I'm like, don't tell me shit. Like,
Yeah. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Figure it out.
Let's work
And, like,
on some problem solving.
Yeah, I'm like, figure it out. Because sometimes they just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
They have to. Because it's just like all day. And my husband comes home and he's like, I can understand why you're so stressful. I'm like, it's nonstop.
Yeah.
It's nonstop. Like yesterday, I took him to the park, and I was just like, just go. I mean, it was a shit show.
Yeah.
At the park. I mean, 2 minutes at the park, scraped, and they just got
and you have
rollerblades.
boys. Like,
I have boys, and my daughter, she's very girly, but she's rough.
Yeah, she's been raised with all these boys. She has to
so
be.
she's tough, but she's in a couture dress at the park, and I'm like, what's going on
Yeah.
here?
Okay. We have to wait. I can't wait till you meet Ryan's mom. When you meet Ryan's mom,
I can already picture her.
Diane, it's a
She's
whole...
It's giving
polar
me
opposites.
glam. Like,
Oh.
it's giving
polar
me glam.
I honestly, if I could get a tour of her closet, just out of
You said
curiosity.
it's polar opposite.
We are polar opposites, but well, maybe I might do a video or something.
You
'Cause-
should. I want to see now.
Well, she just redid her house, so it's completely different.
I love
It's
it.
very, very modern. It actually is like this gray. Well, this is more blue, but it's like dark gray. But the windows, the doors, all open. They're like whatever, they're pocket doors, and she's got like this little nook. I helped her design it, and so she just got. I was in her closet this morning, and I was like, what's happening? So she has like 10 racks of clothes.
Oh my god.
And because her closet is, she doesn't have a closet.
It's a room.
It's a room.
It's just a room.
I want her life.
But it's custom. So they're putting it all back. And she's like, are you going to come and help me and organize it? And I'm like, is this the last time we're going to organize it? But she has so much stuff. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. It's
But
great
at the
stuff.
same time, it's just like, what are you doing with all these things? Like, why do you still, like, I'm very a purger. Like, I like to declutter and get stuff out of my house. And she's just,
She likes to keep her
racking
stuff.
it up.
I mean, she has great stuff. I mean, her stuff is amazing. I mean, you should follow her on TikTok if you guys want to know.
Wait,
Oh,
she
I
has a
gotta get on
TikTok?
She does.
Oh.
I don't have a TikTok.
Y'all,
but like her stuff, like sometimes I'll be
Dianne
like,
Valentine. Go look her
I
up.
want to look her up now.
It is
you
literally...
should look her. I mean,
How does I'm
She
back
is an
when you
experience.
said play dates? If you have a play date, do you give the family like how do you manage that within play dates? So like let's say I said, "Hey Ryan, I want to have a play date with your kids." Are you going to tell me like, "Okay, let's do the play date, but I don't like my kids to do this. Are you going to give me like what they can and can't eat? Like how does that work?
so they typically don't have play dates. It's just more so you want to come over and hang out,
Oh,
bring
wait.
your kids.
So
and
I
not
would
like
have to
that.
come to you.
No, I mean, or
like a park.
or a park, or I go to
Okay.
your house. It's really not that deep.
Yeah.
It's just more so, I mean, kids are kids, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to put so much stress on them, like, about like what they can and cannot do. They know what they can and cannot do. Like, they know what to say, what not to say. I mean, my kids, I'm really open and honest with my kids, so my kids are a little different. But at the same time, I mean, like, yeah, to me, it's not that deep. I would
Okay.
just say, like, no pork, no shrimp, that kind of stuff. They know what they can't eat.
Yeah.
They know what they...
And I feel like that's common. Like,
Yeah.
I've done play dates and they're like, my kid is kosher and vegan. I've had to cook for halal kids.
When I had one little girl over, I said, "Are you allergic to anything?" She said, "Penicillin." I was like, "I'm not giving you penicillin." I was like, "Great, thanks for letting me know."
Yeah, I always ask for the allergy list because
You just don't know. But I was
don't
thinking
know.
more of like, what's the background noise? Like, what's playing on the TV? Or
Is the TV
right? Is the TV allowed to play? Like stuff like that.
No, I'm not that. It's not that deep for me.
Okay.
I'm very more free about that. I don't like the TV. I don't like the PlayStation. However, that's a fight right now that I'm just kind of losing at in my household. And I'm like, got it. You just pick and choose your battle. So I'm just like even like with basketball, right? They've been kind of going with their dad to play basketball with his friends, which is great. I love it. I'm here for it. However, they are supposed to be committed 2 days a week to go to practice. Lately, they've been like skipping, like they go one day and then like they don't go the other day, and because they want to go play with their dad. And, dads are fun. We all know dads are the cool parent.
Man, they get to have all the fun.
The fun. They don't have to cook and clean and do all the other things that
we're
mom
trying to
worries about.
Right.
So they told me yesterday when we were leaving the park, they're like, "Hey, Mom, we missed our game." And I was like...
Not you missed the game, not the whole game. Like, the whole game.
From the weekend. And I was like, yeah, but y'all haven't been going to practice.
Right.
What did you expect?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had a conversation with them, and I was like, you guys are not going consistently. You're not showing up. You guys are not practicing at home. Like, you guys are just...
Right.
It's fun. And I did not want to be like super on them if they didn't want to. Because I remember my mom wanted to get me into modeling and I hated it. Like I hated dressing up in the dresses and the poop. Like I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
It's like, get me out of this.
Yeah, no, literally. I would have a photo shoot and be like, can we change? Like I was like, this is too much. So I didn't want to do that for my kids. So I'm like, you guys have to make the decision to go hard. And if this is what you want to do, if this is what you want to, like, I'll keep letting you guys go. And I think you guys are doing great when you're there. But when you're not there, you're not focused on it. And that's fine.
It's like you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep pushing you towards something.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't love it for you.
Yeah.
Like I grew up, I was on the basketball team, I was on swim team, but I was committed. Like I tell them all the time, I was like, after practice, I was like, before school started at like 6:30 a.m., I had a 0 period at Pasadena High School. So I was like, I was already working out. Then I had basketball, and then I had private lessons to just get me halfway good.
Yeah.
To practice.
Yeah.
Like some of the girls
You're trying to teach the commitment behind it.
Yeah, like it has to be earned.
Right.
Like playtime is earned. Like to play in the games. I remember when I left Pasadena, if you didn't go to your classes that day of game days, you could not play at the game. And I shared that with them. And I told them that yesterday. I was like, this should be a learning experience. So then yesterday at practice, they were going hard.
Have they ever questioned, like, why are we homeschooled, and you make references to, like, you going to school?
No.
No way.
No. I think I've kind of already guided them in why we do the things that we do.
So it's not so much of a fight.
So it's not a shock.
And it's something that they were born into. Like,
Yeah.
You
Right.
and your husband made this decision before
we
having
were
your
born.
children, which I think
is the most important part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, okay, we're doing this, and then here's this sudden change.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what's going on?
I have 2 more questions, and then I'm done with.
Come on, Tyler. I know, and I've been loving your
I'm
questions.
so mad that you didn't break this news before. Like,
I'm sorry.
I don't know. You should have led with that when we were talking over there about me being hungover. Like, you should have.
I mean, Cheyenne's like, I'm dying.
You should have
Help
said,
me.
let me just give you these fun facts really quick. Because now I feel like this has turned into a whole other thing. Were we supposed to be talking about hair this whole
I know,
time?
I don't know.
I didn't, you know what? There's so many
There's so many layers. You have to come back. We have to keep going because I just have my 2 questions. So my first one is so it's being an Israelite, right? So is that like a church that you go to, or how do you bring like the Bible into your home?
So we are the church.
Okay.
In the scriptures it says, when 3 or more are gathered, then you hear my spirit is there. So the men are like, it's levels to it. So we obviously have the Most High, so he's the head. and then his son, and then it's the men, and then the women, and then the children. So it's very ordered. Like, how do you say it? They're like there's order to it.
Okay.
And there's everybody has to play their roles. So we don't, it's not necessarily a church, but it's more so of like just spreading the word and spreading the facts and breaking it down and not going about how we feel, like, which is something I struggle with because women, we're emotional.
Right.
So naturally, I'm very in my feelings a lot of the time, especially with my husband. I'm like, well, I don't feel like that. And, but you can't argue with the facts. You know what I mean?
You find the facts by reading and like studying the Bible?
Yeah, like if I have questions, I remember even before we were together, I remember he called me one time I was at home and I was literally reading the scriptures and he like just called me. We ended up talking about it for like an hour just on the phone, and like he just breaks things down, and he obviously is more.
I love that kind of stuff.
He's more. That's what made me like him.
Yeah, if a man can sit here and break down some scripture or like, hey, let's talk about this truth or these facts, I am like,
yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, we can find you somebody.
What else do you know?
So it's not like you're going to church on Sunday.
No.
You're just, your home is the church.
Yeah. And so like even in the scriptures, like it says like even for women not to teach the word. It's for women. Women teach the children. The man teaches the woman teaches the children. But obviously, you can do however you want in your household. Right. I mean, I don't know what another man and their family is doing. But that's just kind of, my husband is more onto that side with them and teaching them. And I'm like, you focus on that. Yeah. Because that's what you're an expert in. And I will just do what I'm good at. Yeah. Like I still have my gifts of what I do. Right. Like I'm very a go-getter. Like I find us stuff and I'm just like, I remember even when we moved into our place, I remember I applied like 2 years before we moved there. And I just kept circling back and I'm like, are you guys available? And I remember we were like, what are we going to do? Because we can't stay where we are now. Like this is not working out. And I remember when he walked in there blindly. But he always knew like whatever I'm going to bring to the table, it's always going to be quality. And I remember we walked in and he was like, this is our spot. And I was like, I can just see him like in his mind, like blown away and like trying to not accept it. And I remember just pulling him aside, like with the leasing woman, like right there. And I was like, this is ours. Accept it. We deserve it. I'm like, you deserve it. Yeah. And then that was that.
That just formed, like, I just got chills under this, like that right there. Like that amount of trust, even like within a relationship is so.
Is he used to being the lead?
That's special.
In his lane. So like we have figured out, because I remember he was like, when you have an idea, he's like, I have learned to just sit back and let it go. Because it always works out. And like finding money, like free money, like just random stuff. Like I just figure out.
Can you find me some free money?
I mean, finding free money, is that a gift you have?
Right. We need to talk some more.
I mean,
if that's what you know how to do, then let's do it.
I like to manifest things.
So I know how to work my lane. Now, if that's the lane that you know how to work, we should just combine.
And I'm a great support team. Like I'm great in admin and whatever.
You should have never said that.
I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, there's different levels. I mean, grants is free money, so there.
But still, finding grants is a gift and a skill set,
and it's a lot of work.
Yes.
And so it keeps me up at night. Like sometimes it's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like looking, because that's really the only time I really have to myself. Yes. Honestly, like. I had to learn to give myself time throughout my days.
My favorite hours are between 1:30 a.m. and 4.
3. Oh, okay, mine is 3.
Yeah, 1 and 4. 3 to 4, prime time. Prime time in my bag. I can be knocking out emails. I can literally learn random 10 new facts. So I'm like, I can't wait to tell somebody today. Like, look what I learned. That's when I'm like, up in the middle of the night doing weird things with my face, like skincare. Got my steamer going.
Yeah, I love it.
Not the face.
No, but you have to find your time. That's my balance, and I wish I could be. Excuse me. I wish I could be a morning person. I'm really not a morning person, but I have found, even in like the past couple of weeks, just like waking up at like 6:30 and just like in the Bible, just reading, just praying, being by myself has been super peaceful. Like I had one day, I skipped a day, and it was like one of the worst days of the week. And I was just like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I hear you.
This is very inspiring to me. So I'm moving, like, but I have like a 3rd bedroom, and I'm gonna use that as like my office and my closet. And the closet in my room, I want to convert it into a prayer room, because I'm like, I really, really want to be very disciplined, or just have more discipline in my relationship and my intention with God, and how I pour into God and I receive from God. So I enjoy hearing this, because it just like, it gives me a little reassurance, like, hey, what you're feeling right now, do it, you know, don't question it, like keep leaning into it. And yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I'll be honest. Like this last year, my faith has really been tested, because I've just been feeling. I think it was really my last son, like the baby. It was hard, like everything about it. Yeah. Like except for oddly the delivery, but everything besides that was extremely hard. And so I struggled with faith. Like I started even pulling back. And I was just like, I literally had to pray for a month. Like, give me the strength. Give me the strength to even want to read my Bible, to even want to pray, to even want to do that. Like, I had to ask for that. And, like, it was a struggle. Like, I was feeling like I'm not even supposed to be here. Like, I don't even feel like I should be saying your name. Like, that's how deep I was. And it's probably a little bit of postpartum.
I was gonna say,
when that happens, how does that play a role in your marriage?
So I have never had it before. You know, I've never felt like this before. You know, like I never felt like it was not working. Yeah. You know, and I was just like down on myself, and like I'm not giving him enough of my attention. I'm giving everybody else my attention, my mom, the business, the kids, you know, but I'm like, am I giving the Lord, who gives me air every day, who gives me, you know, the things that I have, like, I felt like I was failing, you know, like, and I felt like I was disappointing him. And at the end of the day, all he wanted is a relationship, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
I love how you said that.
You have to even pray for that. Like or at least for me, I had to even get there. And recently I just got back even doing, like, I have like this little garden, like, that I was like, this is my happy place. And I had to find that again. Yeah. Because the baby's
only one, right?
Yeah, he's only one.
So I feel like you're still in that.
Yeah, for sure. But I never felt this way. So it was very, like, I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, I didn't feel like myself. I was like, I'm like,
postpartum is real.
Yeah. And like, I feel, and I haven't been diagnosed or anything or seen anyone, but like, even my dad was like, are you going through that? And I was like, I don't know. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know.
And sometimes you don't know that you were going through it until years later when you look back, and then you're like, oh, I was. Like, all the signs are pointing to this. Like,
you just don't know the word.
You just can't figure out how to, like, explain it to people. Like, I had it really bad with Ryder, and I felt like I couldn't explain it to anyone. And, like, the best way that I would try to explain it was, like, the room could be full of like 100 people and I still feel like there's no one in it. Like, I don't know how to like explain those feelings. And then my mom would be like, but I'm right here. I'm like,
and it was hard because we could see
I don't like, I get that you're right here, but I still don't feel like you're right here. I don't feel like I'm right here, so I'm not going to acknowledge your presence.
Was it like an out-of-body experience?
It was like, I felt like I could be in a room and everyone could be staring at me, but I can't look back. Like, I can't look at them. Like, it was such a weird feeling.
Cheyenne's and then first year was really difficult
this
to
big.
Watch.
I was under 100 pounds, and I was nursing Ryder, and everyone would always bring up my weight, and I did not realize how small I was. Now I look back at pictures, and I'm like, why didn't y'all take me to a doctor? Like, what is going on?
Yeah. There's one picture in particular when Cheyenne's like, okay,
I looked at myself and I'm like, I look sick. Like, why didn't anyone tell me? And my mom was like, we did. Like, we kept telling you. You just weren't able to, like,
close.
hear it or receive it.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Well, that's good that you even have the family to kind of pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that I really am grateful for about our family. It's like we can be if we're disconnected, if we're in our zones, like we give each other the space to like go through that process. But at the same time, we don't leave each other, and we're like, we still try and pour into and feed and lift and like fill in where it's necessary. And it was very difficult that first year, like watching my sister go through this. It was the first baby in our house, and there was just so much love, but the circumstances weren't what Cheyenne wanted. Like it was a difficult journey to navigate.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it still is. It was tough.
It was tough.
So I feel like it was like a fog. I feel like it was just like a fog, or like I couldn't see through the fog.
I can outer body.
Kind of see that.
It's
because I don't have it consistently, but I have times when I'm just like, where I feel super disconnected, and I'm like, even though I'm with my kids all day,
right?
Like I'll snap out of it at like 6 or 7 p.m. and I'm like, where have you been all day?
Yeah.
Even though they're in the room, like the room right next to me,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just not connecting with them, and I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's literally like a foggy brain. Like I don't know, it's like a fog. I think that there is a term for it that is like a foggy brain.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to have you back on because I feel like we used this episode to honestly like get to know you personally, but there's a whole other side that we weren't able to tap into from the business standpoint, which I think is why you were supposed to come on in the first place.
Yeah.
But I feel like now that people, I feel like now that people know, a little bit about you, then when we do talk about the entrepreneur side, you're able to like relate more, or you're able to like connect more versus like you come on and just talk about like, this is what I do. But now we like know about your personal life, your journey, your kids, your husband. So then when you come back and talk about the business, we already feel like you're our friend. Like, now we can support you.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That's super, super real.
We have to do a part 2. And I know everyone else is going to have like a million questions like I did.
Wait, and then we have to bring in Ryan's mom, and it's going to be like,
oh yeah,
wait a minute. You're gonna see the difference because it's very, very different. Like
I'm gonna go look for her TikTok after this.
Like no. Yeah. It's.
I'm picturing night and day. I'm picturing like mom in her prom dress right now.
You're correct. You're correct.
And Ryan just looking at her like, why are you dressed like that?
No, facts. Like I'm just like she comes to the basketball practice and I'm like, what are you wearing? Like the kids are snapping her earrings out and I'm just like,
main character energy all the time.
Yeah.
Like when I see her, I'm like,
and it's not that she's trying to be.
No, it's just who she is.
It's just who she is. And I had to learn that because I used to be like, oh my God, she's coming in like at basketball practice. I would be so embarrassed. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, that's just who she is.
Come on, Mom.
Been like that. Like the stories from her going school shopping, and my grandma would give them money, and everybody would come back with 4 pairs of outfits, and she would come back with one because she was.
This is it.
She had to get
She had to get the best of the best, and she was like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah,
but that's
like
her.
That.
I love it.
I think that's great. I definitely want you to come back. I want to do a part 2, so we're gonna definitely do a part 2
all these
with
other
Ryan.
Aspects, but Ryan has content on YouTube where she's doing like non-toxic lifestyle. So like,
which I gave up on. Yeah,
I used to watch those and be like, "This is how I'm gonna clean my house."
But see, that was all I was doing.
These people just used a gallon of bleach the other day at my house, and I'm like, damn, I cannot bring my kids in here yet. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, there's other ways. We could talk about that. No, I don't have social media. All I have is I was going to ask,
where can people follow you at?
The brand. We've got some brands.
I just got the brands.
Okay.
You can follow my mom. You can see me on her stuff.
My mom.
I'm behind the scenes most of it. But no, I have my skincare line, which is Raw and Rich. And then we have Glow and Flow Beauty.
Mm-hmm. I love.
I can't wait for you guys to see the second store. And then we have Slay Hair,
which I love.
So I run all of those.
Yeah.
I approve all of those. I'm building all of those from the ground up. And
Yeah.
it really, because
Ryan's
of
so
those,
busy. I'm still trying to figure out
how I do it all.
how.
I didn't know
Like,
that
I
you
have to
ran
go
all
pick up
three.
the flowers for our selfie wall after I leave here because we need to be open in a couple of weeks, and we keep pushing it back.
Where's the second store at?
Hawthorne.
Oh, wait.
It's on like Rosecrans, I think, and I don't know.
Oh, wait. Okay.
I don't know. Follow us.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
though.
Glow and Flow Beauty, literally one of my favorite beauty stores. I go in there for everything at this point.
Yeah.
And I love it because I had to get my hair braided one day, and I've had like either the best of luck or the worst of luck with braiders. And
Oh,
I
they're
was
the worst.
in the
I
store
mean, we have
one
great
day,
ones, but-
and there was this woman. She was leaving. She's like, "Oh, I braid hair," and I was like, "Let me have your card." And I was like, "Where do you braid?" She said, "Right there." She's pointing to the chair in the beauty supply.
Yeah.
And I think a week later, I asked you for a referral, and it was her. I misplaced the card, and
Oh, that must be Passion.
It was Passion.
She's great. How was she on your hair? Was it
I
soft?
was so happy.
Okay.
And she talked me into a new color.
Oh, that was the color braids.
That was the color braid. I've never done color in my braids, so
Okay.
I loved it. It was a great process. It was in the store,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is the smartest thing any braider could do. Because
Yeah.
people were coming in, they were like, "Oh, I like your braids," and I was like, "She's here." Blah. I had her schedule. I had her
I'm
spiel down.
down.
I was
Not
handing
you being
people
our-
cards.
Right. Now you
Art.
being a rep.
Right. I feel like I am an ambassador in my mind.
No, I've used Slay hair when I got braids, and the braider was like, "Oh, I've never heard of them." And then she started touching it. She was like, "Do you have extra packs?" I was like, "Yeah."
I think we reached out to her, and then actually someone, like I guess one of her friends,
Gracie.
reached out.
Oh yeah, I connected you.
No, they love Palmer.
There was
Loved
someone
the
else.
hair. She was like, "It's so soft."
she was like, "I need to buy this wholesale."
Yeah.
Yeah, we have them.
I
Sure.
sent her.
Sent
yeah.
me.
Yeah, no, she really liked it.
Yeah.
So the way that we end our podcast every week is you can share advice, like any advice in the whole wide world that you can think of, or you can share a WTF moment from your week.
I have to go first.
You don't have to go first.
I'm like, let me think about
Kyle,
this.
do you want to go first? I'm trying to think too.
A WTF moment.
You have 5 kids. I know you had a WTF moment.
you know, I probably do, but stuff really, which this is something that bothers my husband. Like stuff doesn't really bother me unless it's like threatening, like life threatening. Actually.
Do you have a
I'm actually
patience?
I'm very calm. Well, because my husband is very like not even theatrics. 'Cause he's actually shy. He's really shy, but.
He reacts
He
more.
reacts like
Got
his,
it.
you know, like
emotes.
he's very like his personality is a lot bigger than mine. Like I'm very like small. I remember when Mercy was born. Bless these kids, but can I share that?
Yes, yes,
It
yes.
didn't happen. It's like years ago, but literally we brought her home, and they came. My mom brought the kids home after we got home. I kid you not. I told the kids like, hey, they were eating dinner. I'm like, I'm gonna go put the baby down and I'm gonna go take a shower. Can you guys handle like just eating? They were fine. Like nothing was wrong. And then like I just hear this boom and I'm just like, what is happening? What is that? I'm like, are you guys okay? And they're like, this is Gad. So he's my like if you want to be out in the street and like you got to fight, that's who you call
him.
Call Gad.
I love all the names too.
Yeah, so Gad, he was like jumping and playing, and obviously they were excited because they hadn't seen me in a couple of days, and you know they have a new sister, so they're like, okay, and I'm like, what happened? He's jumping up and down playing his video games and gets himself a concussion.
Oh my God.
Literally, like, and I'm just like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good, and I'm like, you sure? That was very, very loud. All night he was throwing up. All night. And I was just like calling my mom. I'm like, it's like midnight. And I'm like calling my mom like, he just won't stop throwing up. Like, what is going on? Like, what do I do?
Dang, he really hit his head.
And like, I'm like calling my dad and like, you know, and I'm like being really calm. And my husband's like, are you not going to attend to him? Like, why aren't you freaking out? And I'm like, somebody has to be calm.
Right.
Like, what? He's like, don't you see him? He's throwing up. I'm like, I see. What do you mean? And he has to work.
Someone has to be calm.
And I consciously have to be like the calm parent because he's not the calm parent. Like, so even when I want to like be like, what are you doing? I can't because I know he's going to be reactive. And like two people like that is just like.
It doesn't work.
It's not going to. So I have to be that person. But don't get me wrong. I do lose my shit all the time. But when it's both of us, I have to be the calm parent.
Not the concussion the day the baby comes
the
home.
baby comes home. I'm like,
I'd be like, really today?
I haven't been sleeping. And then I'm like.
He was like, I need some attention.
Out of all the days today, like, why?
And then my husband had to work super early. I think he has to work at like 5 a.m. So I'm just like, and I know it's like a struggle. And I'm like, can this be any more of a bad time? Like, it's going to happen on the weekend.
Baby,
Oh my
throwing up
God.
child.
Yeah.
Other babies.
And I'm giving him showers like all night and then I can't
Aw.
sleep because I'm like, is he going to die? Like, what's going on? Like,
Should he go to sleep?
yeah.
Not
do I
be
take him? Do I go back to
Right.
the hospital? And I'm just like, and I hate the hospital, by the way. So we can talk about that on another
two.
day. But yeah, so I just was like, okay, we're gonna be okay. You know, like he's just like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I got this. You go sleep because you're yelling at me for not reacting. You go sleep. We're gonna be fine. And he was fine, but it
He's still
definitely was scary.
That is scary.
I don't like that. Kyle, what do you have for us?
Wow. Something you said earlier in terms of like the sports where you're like, you know, if you're not going to do it at home, it resonated with me because Boz his dad really wanted him to play basketball, but it's like he didn't want to shoot, he didn't want to practice, he didn't want to dribble. And I had him in the activities. I was doing my part. But he didn't want to be consistent. So I was like, look, Boz, if you're going to do a sport, I need you to actually want to play and, like, focus. And he found his sport, and it is soccer. And I have been overrun with soccer facts, where everyone is from, their styles. Like, I was never into soccer. I got kicked in the ball in 6th grade. I can tell you, Isabel Miller kicked the ball, and it hit me smack in my face, and I was like, I'm never playing soccer ever again in my life.
Now you knowing her name.
Oh, no, I remember this day. We were on the field.
Wait, what?
No,
Isabel Miller.
No, it was like a will. Like, I remember this because after that, I was like, I'm not playing soccer ever again in my life. And I've been loving soccer with Boz so much lately. And I'm so happy that he is finding something that he genuinely enjoys and is like, I'm going to be the best at this. He's like, call me Ronaldo, call me little Ronaldinho, because like that's who I am. So just paying off what you said, listen to your children, like pay attention to your children. Don't force them into things. If they're doing it and they don't want to practice, save your money, do something else. Like, don't stress yourself out. Like, I feel like I was stressing myself out to like get to these practices, and I was like, at this point, I didn't even want to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm just very grateful that that I listened, I feel, to my child. So that he's able to like discover his passions and what he wants to do. So I think that's my advice. Like, listen to your kids sometimes. Like,
That's good advice.
Yeah, I learn a lot from my children.
Yeah, because they're people too.
Yes.
Even though they're younger. I mean, I don't think you have to let them lead everything.
No.
I think there's a level of that and boundaries, but for sure you should listen to see what they want. Because I even threatened my kids, and I was like, we can get out of basketball. They're like, no. You know, and I'm like, okay. So they love it. They like it.
They enjoy
but
it.
if you want to show up, we'll show up.
Yep.
And if you don't,
that's on you.
fine.
It's on you.
But
It's your choice.
There's reasons when things don't go your way. You have to deal with that too.
Yeah, and I want him to like have his own like sense of autonomy and like this is how I want to go about it. So it's like we officially had our first soccer practice yesterday.
Oh.
And we went to Target, and we were going for shoes and cleats. We left with
everything.
Cones. He said, Mom, we need to get cones because I have to practice my drills at home.
Oh, good.
And I was like, okay, like it made me really happy and proud.
Yeah.
Target got me yesterday, but it was a good it was a good moment. So yeah, listen to your children at times, you know, like you said,
sure,
they definitely have feelings, they have their own thoughts, and got to nurture that.
Good for you.
What you got, Shy?
I don't have a WTF or advice. I
What?
just
You-
have one thing to say, that potty training is not for the weak.
Oh, no.
That's it.
Do you need advice on potty training?
I need my son to just not have a penis that pees anymore. Like, that's all I need, and that's all I'm asking. That is what I'm praying for right now, is for that little pee-pee to stop peeing everywhere.
And he's so cute.
Are you in? Is he? So how do you potty train? I have to know.
He's in boxers, and we're putting him on the potty like every 20-15 minutes, and then like watching like when he eats and drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I hate him. I do.
Yeah.
I really do right now. I love him.
Do you give like treats? Did you ever
We
do
did
that?
treats in the beginning, but then it didn't get received well.
I never did the treats.
I tried the treat thing. I tried the Oreo and the Cheerio
Cheerios.
in the pot.
What about a potty watch?
I have potties everywhere in my house right now. There's potties everywhere.
I just let my son go naked.
Yeah.
Like a big t-shirt, and then
That's what it is.
let them run around naked.
I've done it all. Ace is
Yeah.
naked 90% of the time. So my only thing is that
How old is he?
2. He'll be
Oh,
3
he's
in
good.
May.
He might be at a 3-year-old that does it.
He talks really well.
No, I
And
know, but
he
I'm
He
just
tells
saying,
me the pee-pee is coming.
you're just not moving fast enough for him.
And I'm running, and that little thing is just peeing everywhere.
Oh, Lord.
There's just pee and shit all over my house.
He just needs to be outside.
He needs to stay outside. Okay, he needs to actually have a tent outside. So that is the only thing I'm saying this week is potty training isn't for the week, and I keep trying to tell myself that and give myself motivation. But God, please give me guidance, because I'm ready to
Keep going.
keep that boy in a diaper for life. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for sharing with
I'm
us.
excited.
We have to have you
back.
back on to talk more about the business side and not get sidetracked, because I got completely sidetracked today. And you guys can follow us on Think Loud Crew on Instagram and on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Follow me at Shy Not Shy. Ryan, I know you don't have social media, but where can they follow your businesses?
So it's we're on TikTok and Instagram and I think Facebook. So the beauty supply store is Glow and Flow Beauty. Slay is Slay Hair, or Slay _ hair _
Okay.
and then raw.and.rich.
And then we'll put
I'll
all of
tag
these
everything
on
in
the
here. Yeah.
description as well. Kyle, where can they find you at?
And you can find me at Kyle Lynn. But quick fact, y'all need to go get Raw and Rich. It feels really good. There's 4 different variations. There's a 5th one?
Well, we might be out of one. Yeah.
Oh,
So one is unscented, and then
there's
have 4.
unscented and then there's the scent.
4,
Oh, well,
yeah.
I didn't know there was 5. I need to go
Yeah.
get the other one then. And then Slay Hair is literally like, I will never use another braiding hair ever again in my life. Because why? Literally. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
And
Thank you for having
as
me.
always, you can. What is it? What do we say
I
then?
don't know. Make sure you tell your crew about our crew.
Make sure you tell your crew about our crew.